So if you click this video, it's probably because you are struggling with flower math. And as a florist, making sure that you are pricing your flower arrangements properly and making a profit from your designs is definitely like the most important part of running your flower business. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how I price my flower arrangements and do my flower math like a pro. Hi guys, it's Alexis here and welcome back to my florist YouTube channel. If it's your first time here and you don't know who I am and you don't know what I do flower arranging tutorials here on my channel. I teach people how to run a flower business. I myself have worked at a flower shop for the last 8 years, and then for the last 2 years I've had my own flower business that I do weddings, events. So stick around, subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you be a part of the community here. So let's talk about flower math. So flower math can be really challenging, especially if you are not a mathematician. I myself pretty much fail like every single math class in high school and elementary school, so to me, like, math is just like not really my strong suit. So this is what I used to do. In the past, I've typically written out all my formulas, find all my flowers, and I've written all that out on an Excel sheet. And this is fine, it worked okay for a number of years, but the only thing that was really bad about it is that if you mistype a single number, you can end up ruining your entire flower recipe. And I find that also Excel is just like kind of really hard to use. I know some florists out there as well, they simply just write everything on a notebook. So they'll figure out what type of flowers they want in their flower arrangement. Then they'll figure out how many bunches, how many stems they need. You're gonna have to physically write out all of that information. It's very time consuming. So for the last couple of events and projects that I've had, I have been using a florist made and based program called Everystem. So what's really amazing about Everystem is that it will calculate how many stems you need to make an arrangement for your event. And it's absolutely phenomenal. It really does like take my business to a whole new level. I'm seeing a profit, guys. Like, I'm seeing even more of a profit than I was in the past. So like when I made my flower math video, like I was seeing a profit, but now I'm seeing a profit. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how I use the Everystem program to maximize my profits for my business, along with teaching you guys how to just work the program. I'm going to show you guys how to add flowers to your database. I'm going to teach you guys how to make formulas. We're going to go through all that today, guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to go on my laptop. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to walk you through this tutorial on how to use this program. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to Google the words Everystem, and that should pop right up when you Google the website. So we're going to just Google Everystem. Perfect, and it is the actual first Google search. So you're just going to click that and you're just going to log in. So if it's your first time ever using Everystem, you're going to have to like make an account. You're going to have to fill out your information. Then you will have access to the Everystem program. So I'm going to just show you what that looks like. So I'm going to log in here. So I already created my username and password, so it already automatically just like logs me in. Perfect. So this is your dashboard. So this is like the first thing you'll see when you open up Everystem. They ended up actually showing me some updates at first, which is nice. And what's great about Everystem is they actually have an entire YouTube channel just like me. So if you want more step-by-step tutorials, how to do certain things on the Everystem program, they actually do have some tutorials on their channel that are super helpful on how to use the program. So definitely check that out when you get the chance. But what we're going to do first is we are just going to click the dashboard, which is at the top left of the screen there. So when you open up your dashboard, you see all of the events that you've ever created ever. Now, once you have a lot of events, it may just be easier just to search up your events here at the search bar. But as of right now, I don't really have a ton of events, but I'm going to create a whole new event so that way you can see what this looks like from scratch. So what you would do is you would just go to the top left of the screen here, and you're going to hit the blue button that says Add Event. Now, what you do next is you can name the event. You can add an event description. In the description, I personally like to add the location of the event, and then you can also add the event date. So because this is an example, we're just going to make this like example event. I'm going to put the word example for the description. So when you're adding the event date, you have to put the year first, then the month, then the day. All right, perfect. So now that we have our sample event, I'm just gonna click on the little edit button right in the right-hand corner here, and that is going to allow us to edit this event. So when you open up your screen, the first thing you're going to notice are these green columns right at the top here. So these green columns represent your item. So for example, I've got like my bouquet as an item, my boutonnieres as an item, my corsages as an item, and you can change the quantity. So if you have like 5 bridesmaids bouquets, you know, you can change that quantity to 5. Let's say you have 5 boutonnieres, you can change that as well. So what I like to do first is I just kind of like to start by getting my columns in line first. So we're going to start by just pricing out a bridal bouquet, a bridesmaid's bouquet, probably some boutonnieres and a couple of corsages. I think I'm just going to stick to personal flowers today for the sake of making this video simple and more easy to understand. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually just going to rename these columns. So this partner A column, I'm going to call this the bridal bouquet column. I'm going to call partner B bridesmaids bouquets. I'm going to call this one, I'm just going to remove this one, make it easier. So I've got boots, corsages, others. Now it's really cool that you actually do see like your summary of what you just did, right? That pops up right there in the corner, which is nice. And you do have the option of actually deleting columns as well. So if you click this last one that says other, I'm just going to remove that because it's just going to be a little bit too challenging to see all that. So remove that. Am I sure? I am very sure. All right, so this is what I like to start with. I like to start by just adding in my columns first, and that allows me to figure out what I need flower-wise. So the first thing I'm going to do here is you actually need to add your items to the column lists. So your items are your flowers. So what you're going to do first is you actually need to create the items that you're going to be inputting into the system here. So you're going to hit at the top of your screen, create item. And for this wedding, I'm going to just keep it simple. We're just going to do roses, hydrangea, and some spray roses. So we're going to start by using a rose. So some roses that I like to work with are Vendula roses. So we're going to put in the word Vendula rose. Vendor name. So you can have the option to even add in like where you get your flower supplies from. I know a lot of florists in my area, they get their flowers from all over the world. So sometimes it's nice being able to just specify like which vendor you're getting your flowers from. So for me, I get all my flowers from DV Flora. So this right here is probably like the coolest part. You have the option to choose whether or not you want to do the price per stem or the price per bunch. I find it easier to do the price per stem because that's just how I work. When I'm looking at my flower invoices, I typically am looking for the price per stem. So that's how I work. So I'm going to hit price per stem. So now you want to think about how much is this one flower stem at wholesale price. So you can check that simply by just looking on your invoice, and it will tell you how much your flowers are per stem. So for me, I know Vendula roses are like $1.05 a stem. So I'm gonna put $1.05 per stem. And roses always come in packs of 25. If there are garden roses, they typically come in packs of like 10. So definitely make sure to check with your wholesaler. You can also refer to your flower invoice as well. So we're going to do price per pack. I'm going to do 25 stems per pack. And I'm going to hit save to library and add to current page. I'm going to hit the X button at the top right corner here. Perfect. And now you have your Vendula rose right here in this area of the screen. So now you have how many roses you need. So for me, I usually like to put at least like anywhere from like 9 to 15 roses, depending on the types of bouquets that I'm making. So for right now, we'll just put 9 roses. Okay. Now to add another item, you're going to hit create new item. And I'm going to add hydrangea. I also like to add in the color as well because hydrangea does come in multiple colors. So I'm gonna just add hydrangea and then the color white. Hydrangea these days is running you about, depending on the type and variety of hydrangea. I usually just get like regular select hydrangea, don't really get the premium stuff. I don't really see a difference between the two. So I know that usually goes for about $1.39 per stem. And again, guys, you can always check your flower invoices to make sure that you have your price per stems properly. So make sure you are referencing that as you go. So when you're doing the markup, your markup right now is at a 3 times markup, and that is like standard for pretty much like all retail businesses to have at least a 3 times markup on any good that you are serving or selling. So that is my primary markup. My secondary markup is what I use for my greenery and my vessels, my vases, my materials. So that's like a 2% markup, and then the primary markup is like a 3 times markup. So something to think about. So you always want to make sure you're hitting primary if you're doing flowers, so that way it will multiply this number by 3. And that, my friend, is going to get you your retail price. So that is how much you should sell that one stem of flower for to your customer. So we're going to hit save, add to library. Let's see how many stems per hydrangea. They usually come in like, we'll say 10 stem packs. Right? Perfect. Now for my bridal bouquets, I usually like to have at least 3 hydrangea. I find that that just gives me a good shape to get started with. And now we are going to create another item. So we're going to create a spray rose. We're going to call this white. This is, I always get my stuff from DV, so we're just going to keep the vendor name the same. Let's see, spray roses these days are about $15 a bunch. You get 10 stems. So let's actually bring out the calculator, guys, because I'm not good at math. So if you want to figure out how many stems per bunch, you can simply just bring out your calculator, which I'm going to show you how to do. So you can do your one bunch of spray roses at $15 each. They typically come in 10 stem bunches. So you're going to do 15 divided by 10. And this $1.50 is how much each stem of spray rose costs at wholesale price. So we're going to change this $1.39 to $1.50. We're going to make sure we are selected at the primary markup, so that way it multiplies that one stem at $1.50 by 3. Usually get 10 stems per pack. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start adding in how many stems I need for the spray roses. So for spray roses, let's see, if I have 9 roses, 3 hydrangea, I always like to work in odd numbers. So I'll start with 3, and if I think I need more, then I'll add 2 more to get to 5. So what you'll notice is that over here, these numbers on the sides will change as well. And those numbers are based on the quantity. So for my bridesmaids, let's say I have 5 bridesmaids bouquets. And then for each bridesmaid bouquet, I want to put in 3 spray roses, 2 hydrangea, 2 spray roses. These numbers right here on the side change based on how many bridesmaids you have. So if I'm going to need 3 Vendela roses to complete each bridal bouquet, I'm going to times that by 5, and that, my friend, is going to get you to 15. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to be going down each of the columns and adjusting the formula based off of the price per stem. So for me, for the boutonnieres, there's 5 boutonnieres. I typically only need 1 rose per boutonniere, so I'm just going to put the number 1 there. And it's going to do 1 times 5 boutonnieres to get me the 5 roses that I'm going to need for this project. I don't need any hydrangea for boutonnieres. I don't need any spray roses for boutonnieres. Now for corsages, I will say like one stem of spray rose per corsage. The spray roses usually come with anywhere from like 5 to 6 heads per stem. So I find that you really only need anywhere from 4 to 5 rose bud heads to make a single corsage. So we're just gonna put in 1 stem per corsage. And let's say I have 3 corsages that I need to make. So that's gonna do 1 times 3, and that's gonna get us to our 3. Now, as you scroll down to the middle of the page, you're gonna notice this extended cost. So this is how much money it costs at wholesale price to make this 1 bouquet. So it's gonna cost me $18.12 to make this 1 single bridal bouquet at wholesale price. So at the price that I have to pay the flowers for as the florist, that's how much that bridesmaid's bouquet is going to cost. So now you'll also notice you have your labor fee column as well. So you have the option to add in labor fees as you design. So say you just want to add a labor fee to just the bridal bouquet. You can simply just click this little check mark button and it'll add the 30% labor fee, and then it'll tell you at the bottom how much you need to charge for that bouquet. The supplies and retail value. So say you need like ribbon, you need rubber bands, you need floral tape to make this bouquet. Figure out how much your supplies is going to cost, and you can write that into this column here. So let's say it costs $10 in supplies to make that, plus my 30% labor fee. I think I'm going to change this labor fee to like maybe like 20%. Perfect. So your retail value, which is how much you should be charging your client, is $75.23 for that 1 bridal bouquet. So I hope that clears the air and helps you understand a little bit about what's going on here. So let's say I take off that labor percent fee, which is just simply unchecking this box. I will then need to charge at least $64.36 to make sure that I'm covering my labor costs, my flower costs, just like my overhead costs of having to transport, make, do all of that is being accounted for. So really cool. I really do enjoy this program because it really just takes a lot of the mental stress off of me. I find that I'm just, like I said before, I'm really not good at math. And especially with the Excel sheets, I always found that I was miscalculating a number, and then I ended up having to redo like my entire formula, and that's a complete pain in the butt. So I'm just going to kind of go through the rest of these formulas here and just show you guys how I do this. So for the bridesmaid bouquet, it's going to come out to $44.65 to make all 5 of those bridesmaids bouquets at wholesale price. So that's how much it's going to cost me, the florist, to make all these bouquets. Let's see, we're not going to add labor fees. Let's see, another $10 for retail value. Then that's for the supplies, the ribbons, and all that. So what's really cool, you can actually input the quoted price at the bottom too. So say I quoted the bride like, oh, like it's going to cost like $50 to make this bridal bouquet. You'll then realize soon that you are now below your profit margin. So you actually really undersold that bridal bouquet by $14.36, which isn't good, but it's okay because now you know that. So that means that you can either adjust the stems. So let's say maybe we'll just do 7 roses, you know, get us a little bit closer to that $50 quote point. Okay, now we're only at $8 difference. So let's see, let's maybe knock back a hydrangea. We'll do 2 hydrangea, 5 roses. All right, perfect. So now we are at $47.59 at retail value, which is closer to what I quoted her for. So you really want to make sure that your retail value and your quoted price are similar numbers. You don't want your retail value to be higher than your quoted price because that means you are losing money. I'm going to just go through each column and see how much each of these flowers are going to cost me. So now we're moving on to the bridesmaids column. So I've got 5 bridesmaids. It's going to cost me $44.65 to make these bouquets. So in total, I should be charging at least $143. I should be charging at least $143.95 to make these bridesmaids bouquets. Very cool. I'll go over to the boutonnieres. So I've got 1 rose for 5 boutonnieres. Extended cost, labor cost. So for my supplies cost, I'm gonna just put it at $5 because I really don't need a ton of supplies to make a boutonniere, just a pin, the ribbon, the stem wrap tape. So we'll just put that at $5. All right. And then for the corsages as well, I'm just gonna keep these at 0, spray rose 1. So for the corsages, I would typically need like the wristlets, I would need ribbon. So we're gonna calculate that as maybe $7. All right. And then all of these numbers on the right-hand side here are just the totals. So you're in total right now gonna need 29 roses to complete this project. You're gonna need 13 hydrangea stems to complete this whole project. Like, this is just kind of all of your numbers added up together. So once you get to this point where you have your formulas written out, you have your flowers, stems, you have everything just like ready to go, you can hit profit summary. Now your profit summary is going to tell you how much everything costs. So an even simpler way to see all that is you can hit the export button right here, and you have the option of creating a PDF or an Excel sheet. You even have the option to just doing just the recipes, or for your vendor, all your vendor really needs to know is how many stems of hydrangea should they send you, how many bunches, how many, all that stuff. So that's really all that matters to them. But for everyone, I'm just gonna put it as detail, and I'm just gonna show you what that looks like. So include the notes, yes. So once you hit that blue submit button, it should take you here. So this is the coolest part of them all. So it breaks it down based on like your personals, your ceremony, your reception, other. So right now for your personals, you need 13 stems of hydrangea to complete all your personals. You need at least 16 stems of spray roses to complete your personals, 29 vendulas. So you'll know that you need that much per stem. And the thing about flowers here is that, you know, you have to buy things by the bunch, by the box. So I really enjoyed this program because it'll tell you like, okay, like, you know, you need 29 roses, but in order to get 29, you're gonna have to buy 2 bunches of them. And that's gonna give you 50 stems in total, which means you're gonna have 21 extra roses at the end. And like, that's a lot of roses to have at the end. So what's cool about this is that you can really adjust your formulas to figure out like, okay, like if I have 21 roses at the end, maybe I can adjust some of these flower formulas to make it so that way I have less roses at the end. The goal when you are creating your flower formulas is to have as little surplus as possible. You really want to make sure that you don't have any flowers left over. My goal when I'm creating my flower stems and formulas and all that is to make sure that I am using every flower possible. I really try not to have anything left over because I don't really know what I'm going to do with it afterwards. Like, I mean, I guess I could just make an arrangement for my house, but I want to be making money. Like, I don't want to just have like 20 roses left over for no reason and just have them die. So that's why I really like this program, because it really breaks down step by step how to do it, what to do. So it gets even deeper, gets deeper than that. So this is really cool. This will tell you exactly how much it will cost for your entire flower purchase. Okay, so it's going to cost you $72.52 to buy all of those flowers for that one event. Your extra costs, this is like your materials, your tools. So you're going to need to spend at least $37.78 in just tools, materials, vases, things like that. So to do the entire event, it's going to cost you $110.30. What's really cool is that it shows you the quote. So let's say I quoted this bride $185. I really should have charged this bride $250, but instead I only charged her $185, which like is really low. So this profit on flowers is the quote price minus the total cost. So quote price minus the total cost is going to get you $74.90. So my friends, you are making $74.90 off of this one event. So guys, the creators of Everystem actually just took this program a step further. So I know a lot of florists are actually doing multiple events in one weekend. So what I mean by that is some florists will have like 2 events on Saturday and then an event on Sunday. So what's really cool about this new feature that they just came out with is that you can actually combine events. So let's say you need 20 stems of white roses for your Saturday event, but you also need 5 white roses for your Sunday event. What this will do, now that their new feature is added, you can actually see like, okay, like, will I have enough roses after my Saturday event to potentially use for my Sunday event? So it's really cool because you can combine events, you can see like what your surplus stem is, and then it'll actually take out like the calculations. So it won't add like an additional pack of roses for your Sunday event because you have roses from your Saturday event that you can reuse. I actually have a video from the creator herself, Luann. So she's gonna explain how to do that, and you can see that right here.
Hey everybody, Luann from Everystem here. I am super excited about showing you our new consolidated export feature. Let's take a look at 2 wedding examples. The first one, you can see here that we've got several flowers that we're going to highlight in yellow that have a lot of extras. So when we take a look at the second wedding here that we're going to click on, we're going to see that some of these flowers overlap and that we have a lot of extras on this event as well. Now, this doesn't have to be 2 weddings. It could be a standing order for a retail business and a baby shower. It could be whatever type of events you have happening in 1 week that you want to place a consolidated flower order for multiple events. We're going to click on both, and we're going to click on the consolidated export button straight from your dashboard. Now you're going to be able to include the wholesale prices and the bunch count, just like you are able to do right now in the current export. You can add a page header, and then you're going to go ahead and click export. Now what this is doing, it is taking all the pages of all the events that you have checked, and it is adding them together. It is searching for flowers that are exactly the same, and it is consolidating those orders. So if you have lots of extras, you are going to see that they're going to be consolidated down to a nice concise order. So for these 2 events, we are saving $110.15. It's awesome.
All right guys, so now it's time for the free stuff. I've actually teamed up with Everystem, and they have given me a code for you guys so that way you guys can get 1 month of Everystem for free. Use my code flowersbyalexis, input that when you're checking out. You will get the 2nd month of Everystem for free. So you only are going to have to pay for 1 month of Everystem at first. You're going to have the 2nd month for free, and then you will have to pay for every month after that. It is $25 a month for this program. But like, you're seeing so much of a profit that you literally won't even notice that this $25 is gone from your account every month. Because now you're actually making money as a florist. Imagine that. You're actually seeing a profit in your business. Make sure you like this video, comment below, tell me what you thought of the program. Again, guys, my name is Alexis Christine, and thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you all soon in another video. Bye.